Hey guys, Chris here from Fish Aquarium Geeks, just doing here a little guide on the Oscar fish. Um, the Oscar fish is probably one of the most popular cichlid species available in the United States just because of its crazy behavior and it just has like the predatory skills are just amazing with these fish, and the fact that they grow so large and are so colorful and show so much personality, it's hands down easy to see why these fish are so popular. So let's just start going through some of the habitat and care and such. All right. One of the most common questions is how big do Oscar fish get? Um, you can keep the juveniles together, and when they're pretty small, they have less aggressiveness, behavior traits, and it is very common for an Oscar fish to grow up to 10 inches long. And I've even seen some of them get to 12 inches long, which is crazy. So you, these fish are pretty big, and that just goes to show you how much aquarium space these fish actually need. As far as a diet, Oscar fish are technically omnivorous, but they have a strong predatory sense towards the carnivorous side, and it seems that a lot of people just stick with live food when feeding their Oscar fish, but it's really you really have to look into some greens to make sure that it's getting both sides of the spectrum for foods because it needs to have a good nutrition for your fish to be healthy. Next question is what habitat is the fish from and how do you replicate that? It's from South America, uh, common water holes such as drainage and such. So, whatever you can think of that's going to be in the side of a drainage water hole, it basically is going to eat. And you're talking frogs, mice, minnows, just anything you can think of, and the Oscar fish is going to put it down as a meal. Sorry. How much do these fish cost? You can you can range from a wide spectrum. I've seen these fish for sale at Walmart for $10 a piece, and I've seen them at exotic pet stores for $100 a piece. So it's really kind of about the deal. You can buy. This is a totally different subject matter, but you can buy used fish that people are relocating or breeders kind of a underselling underground sale, where you don't buy them from a pet store and you can save a lot of money that way. Um, but yeah, what kind of tank do I need? I would say you want to keep it a single species tank if possible. A lot of people can get away with some catfish that linger on the bottom that have heavy armory and don't really have anything to do with the Oscars because of their predatory skills and the aggressiveness, it's just a lot of Tankmates just aren't gonna do well with them. And as far as what kind of tank, as in size, I would say the bigger and the more rectangular, the better. The more gallons you have, the better. Um, I would say an Oscar fish, you're not going to want anything under a 55-gallon tank for two of them, and that is bare minimum. And even when I say that, I have regret because you should be going bigger, but I've seen a lot of people get away with this with good filtration. So what kind of decorations should I have inside of my aquarium for my Oscar fish? Um, I would say rocks are great, clay pots, plastic pipes, um, just anything good for cichlids, but you have to remember that Oscars are pretty aggressive when it comes to aquascape and decor. They're gonna move stuff around. Plastic plants are gonna be thrown around like rag dolls because they think of them as toys and not an actual plant. Live plants are going to be uprooted. It's just, the heavier the better. And sometimes I just have seemed to find out that a wide open tank, with these cichlids are just, they have more swim room and it's just, they like that better sometimes. So you're kind of going to have to judge how big your Oscar is by its its personality and how many you have, and if you have the budget for large, exotic, heavy rocks for your tank. So, yeah, let's move on here to the next. Will these fish breed in my aquarium? Yes, the fish will breed, but all of the habitat parameters need to be perfect for them, and you need to have a pair set up together that is a totally pairing up your Oscars is a big deal when it comes to having two of them inside of a tank. So I have another episode devoted to that. You should swing over to that because I could talk about this for hours, but as far as just will they breed? Yes, if the parameters are good enough, and there are certain aspects for this to work out to the best. So, yeah, I let's just move forth from here. How does it how does how do Oscars behave as far as personality? Um, I would say they're very aggressive and they are mean. Um, they have they eat their tank mates. A lot of people try to test their parameters as far as how far personalities will go. I've seen Oscars just kill fish that they can't even eat because they're too big, but they just kill them because of their personality. I mean, it's crazy. Um, your tank should literally be um, like set up to where you know people that own Oscars know exactly what I'm talking about because you need to child proof your aquarium for Oscars. You might need to glue down a decoration so that these fish can't uproot it and rip it apart because they're just that powerful. And the final question I got today was, can I have tank mates with my Oscar fish? Um, Tank mates I already talked about a little bit. Make sure you have sorry, I can't speak today. But the safest bet is just going to be more Oscar fish, and you're going to need more space, aquarium space for that, but it's going to work out best. Females pair up the best. They can just they have less aggressiveness, and if you're going to go with a catfish, you need to make sure that has an armor on it. There's armored catfish that just have a tough skin on them. So, yeah, they don't really do well with other tank mates. They're I I say that with a little regret because I have seen a lot of people do well with other fish, but it took a lot of experimenting and kind of figuring out what fish, you kind of have to know what you're doing and know your fish's personality to start experimenting, but that's a whole other subject, and we will have another episode devoted to just tank mates, but as far as keeping it safe at a beginner level, I would say just keeping single species together with other Oscar fish is going to be your best bet. And if you have a male and a female you're trying to get together, you have to make sure that they're going to work as a pair. So, and again, there's another episode devoted to that. So, just to let you know again, I'm Chris from Fish Aquarium Geeks. You can find our Facebook group. That is our main spot we hang out right now. It's just it just kind of took off, so that's what we're running with. But I just figured I'd do a small help guide here on Oscar fish. And if you guys want a cool community to hang out and get more info on Oscar fish, you can go over to oscarfish.com, and it has a dash between Oscar fish. So oscarfish.com, or you can get into Google and just search for it, and we will be there. So awesome blossom. Thanks again, guys, and make sure to subscribe and let me know what you think. Tell me about your Oscar.